My stepbrother committed suicide, and he died in the year when our relationship was at its worst, yet he still left his billions of dollars in inheritance to me. It wasn't until I opened that charred diary that I caught a glimpse of his crazy yet restrained love over the years. When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn on the day when my male god instigated me to run away from home. Your brother actually likes you. He's a pervert, ignoring the male god's stunned expression. I walked straight towards my stepbrother who was standing tensely in the corner. Brother, I'm not leaving, and he just gave a bitter smile for a moment, changing his usual gloomy and fierce demeanor. Baby, if you're going to deceive me this time, can you make it last a little longer? When I learned the news of Shen Huaishu's suicide, I was having an injury examination in the hospital. After getting married, Qingli suddenly changed from being gentle and elegant to being irritable and volatile. And I was trapped in this cycle of domestic violence day after day. On the verge of collapse, Qingli grabbed my hair and slammed my head against the corner of the table, his smile manic. Over the years, if it weren't for his repeated obstruction, I would have already achieved my goal. Come on, Shen Huaishu is dead, shouldn't you be happy? Smile, smile for me. I fell to the ground and froze. Yes, I had completely gotten rid of the pervert Shen Huaishu. I should be happy. But I couldn't force a smile. My emotions were torn in two, pulling at me painfully. The shrill exclamation of the nurse and the blinding blood on the floor seemed to fade away from my senses. There was only one thought in my mind. Shen Huaishu really seemed to be dead. Somehow finding the courage, I resisted Qingli's beatings for the first time and stumbled towards the old mansion. The former home had been completely burned down by the fire. I pushed aside the police cordon and rushed straight to Shen Huaishu's bedroom on the second floor. Qingli's abnormal attitude just now and Shen Huaishu's sudden self-immolation without any warning made me feel that there must be something fishy going on. I crawled on the ground with my hands and feet, searching frantically. Finally, I found Shen Huaishu's diary that he always carried with him. The pages were almost burned, giving off a pungent smell of gasoline. I opened it with trembling hands, my fingertips shaking. Every word in it was about me. It turned out that Qingli had approached me with a purpose from the very beginning. He deliberately sowed discord between me and Shen Huaishu and kept brainwashing me. In the end, I became his tool to control the Shen family. At first, Qingli approached Shen Huaishu in the name of his brother-in-law and brazenly asked for a large sum of money. Give me another million yuan, and I will definitely make Lily live a good life. So Shen Huaishu, a person who was usually ruthless, kept making concessions for my sake. After tasting the benefits, Qingli became even more insatiable. When Shen Huaishu finally stopped giving him money, he sent over the intimate videos of us that we had made before. He threatened Shen Huaishu, if you don't give me the money, I'll expose these explicit videos. The ominous premonition grew stronger. I trembled as I flipped to the last page. Shen Huaishu invited Qingli to meet at the old mansion. Intending to buy the videos in his hands, he had made a thorough plan. He was going to record Qingli's extortion during the transaction and attach the evidence of domestic violence to send him to prison once and for all. So, if that was the case, why did Shen Huaishu still choose to commit suicide? A terrifying speculation emerged in my mind. Qingli had discovered something fishy and wanted to silence Shen Huaishu. A noisy sound of footsteps came. Qingli suddenly kicked open the charred door, his face ferocious. Shen Huaishu actually left all his inheritance to you. Even though you treated him like that, he still thought of you. I've been scheming for so many years, but I haven't gotten a single cent. Wenli, you're going to the notary office with me now and transfer the Shen family to me. Otherwise, I'll beat you to death. Leaning on the floor, I struggled to get up. The diary that I hadn't finished reading was quickly closed. As I trembled, a withered pear blossom fell out. Don't even think about it, I'll beat you to death. Qingli skillfully took out his belt and rushed towards me, shouting, you killed Shen Huaishu, right? You killed him and then disguised as the illusion of self-immolation. Qingli's face twitched a bit. After being stunned for a few seconds, he laughed wildly. So what if I did? Do you have any evidence? I originally just wanted to grab the surveillance video and leave. Who knew that Shen Huaishu, that crazy bastard, refused to give it to me no matter what, so I had no choice but to stab him a few times. You know what? He was still worried about you before he died. Upon learning the truth, I collapsed to my knees, crying until I could barely breathe. Stop talking nonsense. Now that Shen Huaishu is dead, no one can protect you. Hurry up and come with me. It's impossible. I twitched the corners of my mouth, grabbed Qingli, and calmly lit the lighter. Shen Huaishu, I was the one who hurt you in this life. I'll come down right away to apologize to you." There was an explosion, and the flames instantly engulfed my skin. I held the diary tightly and lost consciousness. Before I died, I thought sadly, "Shen Huaishu, did it hurt this much for you too at that time?" When I opened my eyes again, I was reborn. I went back to the day when Qingli instigated me to run away from home. "Wenli, your brother actually likes you. He's definitely a pervert, but it doesn't matter, I'll protect you. I'll take you away from here, okay?" Qingli raised his still young face and gave me a bright smile. I was stunned for a while, and out of the corner of my eye, I saw the thin figure in the corner. Shen Huaishu's face was tense with nervousness, and his eyes were red. His slender fingers unconsciously twirled the seam of his trousers, and the neatly pressed suit quickly became wrinkled. I immediately turned cold and stepped back in disgust. My brother is not a pervert, my brother loves me the most. In my previous life, because I couldn't accept the family restructuring, I was very Shen Huaishu, my stepbrother. It just so happened that Shen Huaishu had an extremely strong desire to control me, and his discipline towards me was strictly even to the point of being pathological. So when Qingli exaggeratedly showed me the photos that Shen Huaishu had secretly taken, I was even more determined to run away. But Shen Huaishu lost his mind and tied me up and locked me up on the spot. Because of this, I thought even more that Shen Huaishu had ill intentions towards me. Every day, I either went on a hunger strike or threatened to jump off the building. I even pointed at his nose and cursed. "You pervert, I wish you were dead." Since then, my relationship with Shen Huaishu hit rock bottom. Qingli took advantage of the situation and began to erode the Shen family. This time around, I must not make the same mistake again. Ignoring Qingli's stunned gaze, I bypassed him and threw myself into Shen Huaishu's arms directly. "Brother, this person is speaking ill of you behind your back." I clearly felt Shen Huaishu's body stiffen, and a look of panic flashed in his usually indifferent eyes. His arms slightly lifted, forming an arc as if he wanted to hug me, but then he stopped in midair, looking a bit at a loss. That's right, at that time, I was extremely resistant to Shen Huaishu's touch and regarded him like the plague. I still remember that once during a meal, Shen Huaishu just tucked a strand of hair behind my ear. I was so angry that I rushed to the barber shop and cut my hair into a super short style. Since then, Shen Huaishu always deliberately kept a distance from me. He was so careful that it made people feel sorry for him. My heart ached, and I took the initiative to hold his wrist and press it against myself. "Wenli." Qingli stared at me in disbelief and tried to pull me away. Shen Huaishu's big hand on my waist suddenly tightened, and his voice was filled with a murderous intent. "What if you touch her?" Qingli was intimidated by Shen Huaishu's terrifying aura and cast a hurt look at me. "I don't like you, and I don't believe your words. So please stay away from me in the future." I wasn't falling for his act and spoke on my own. "Did you hear that? Get lost." Shen Huaishu parted his thin lips slightly and said calmly. Qingli seemed to be irritated and roared defiantly. "Shen Huaishu, even if Wenli doesn't leave with me, she still won't like you." Shen Huaishu paused in his steps, and the look in his eyes was dark and unclear. My sudden change of attitude without any warning was indeed suspicious. My heart immediately rose to my throat, and I quickly explained, "It's not like that." But Shen Huaishu just let out a casual chuckle. The sound was very soft, as if he was trying to convince himself, "If she says so, I'll believe it." Qingli stared at me deeply for a while and then turned away. I was afraid that Shen Huaishu would misunderstand something, so I said earnestly, "Brother, I'm not leaving, baby. Did you see me standing there eavesdropping just now?" Shen Huaishu looked desolate, and his voice was a bit unsteady. Did he think that my saying I wouldn't leave was just a delaying tactic? Yes, but enough. As if afraid that I would shatter his longed-for dream, Shen Huaishu interrupted me angrily. His proud spine slumped down, as if he was suppressing great pain. I was startled by his loud voice and stood there stunned. "Brother." Shen Huaishu gave a bitter smile for a moment, and his voice carried a pleading tone. "Baby, if you're going to deceive me this time, can you make it last a little longer?" I originally thought that this time, since I had rejected Qingli, Shen Huaishu wouldn't restrict me anymore. Unexpectedly, Shen Huaishu was more on guard than in the previous life. After we got home, Shen Huaishu instructed his secretary to seal off the villa. Only bodyguards and trustworthy servants were left, and even the tutors were all sent away. I curled up on the sofa, feeling depressed and thinking, if I can't get out, how can I collect evidence to send that scumbag Qingli to jail? The end of my sophomore year was also the last deadline for me to submit my application for a major transfer. Shen Huaishu helped me ask for leave from the school, and I couldn't take many exams. I had also thought that after studying finance, I could help Shen Huaishu manage the company. In my previous life, he didn't have anyone he could confide in around him, and he also had to guard against internal moles plotting against him. He was hospitalized several times due to overwork. Sit up straight, this is bad for your waist. Shen Huaishu loosened his cuffs and returned to his usual cold demeanor. I can't get up. I deliberately wanted to get closer to Shen Huaishu and opened my arms towards him. Shen Huaishu was slightly stunned, and his expression was a bit unnatural. Get up by yourself, hurry up, I want a hug. I can only get up with a hug. I softened my voice and acted coquettishly, looking at him expectantly. Shen Huaishu closed his eyes, and his breathing became heavy. Baby, don't play with me, brother, I love you, I'll be good from now on, and we'll live a good life together. I held his drooping hand and swayed it back and forth slightly. Before I died in my previous life, I finally figured out why I hated Shen Huaishu so much. It turned out that I had been suppressing my love for him. I desperately convinced myself that I wasn't a monster who liked my brother, coupled with those misunderstandings. In the end, I fell into Qingli's arms. Shen Huaishu seemed to have made a great determination and turned around resolutely. I won't allow you to leave with Qingli. Don't waste your efforts. Sure enough, he still doubted my motives. It seemed that I couldn't explain it clearly in just a few words. It would be better to prove it with my actions. Without having time to put on my slippers, I ran barefoot in front of him and blocked his way. The floor is cold, you, stepping on his leather shoes. I stood on tiptoe and clung to his broad shoulders. All of Shen Huaishu's angry words were silenced by my kiss. Our breaths intertwined, and I explored clumsily. I could clearly feel Shen Huaishu's body temperature rising, and his big hand on my back was trembling faintly. Brother, do you believe me now? I raised my head and looked at him expectantly. Shen Huaishu came to his senses and pushed me away violently. Wenli, it's really hard for you to go this far for him. There was pain suppressed in Shen Huaishu's eyes, and his tone was gloomy and fierce. Someone, lock the young lady in her bedroom and don't allow her to step out even a single step. Shen Huaishu was as angry as a lion whose territory had been invaded, letting out a terrifying roar. I completely didn't expect him to react like this and anxiously patted the door panel. Brother, believe me, why don't you believe me? Shen Huaishu let out a self-deprecating laugh, his voice broken. Baby, I have believed you too many times. I opened my mouth but couldn't find a word to refute. Yes, I had taken advantage of his trust and hurt him again and again. Shen Huaishu did not believe me. It was precisely because he believed me too much that he was deceived by my clumsy lies. I slid down the wall and sat on the ground, covering my face feebly. Tears seeped out from between my fingers, and my heart ached so much that I could hardly breathe. Shen Huaishu inherited the company when he was 18 years old and cleared out the opposition with thunderous means. He was always decisive outside and wouldn't allow others to challenge his authority, yet such a person who was in control of everything unconditionally indulged me as I crossed his bottom line. He would even make excuses for me. In the dead of night, I tossed and turned but couldn't fall asleep. There was a soft rustling sound coming from the window, and I got up vigilantly. Who is it? It's me. Don't be afraid. Qingli climbed in through the window and walked towards me. I was startled by him and instinctively shrank back. How did you get in? This villa had strict security and was built on a remote mountainside. Qingli was alone. How could he enter my room so easily, unless there was an insider? It seemed that Qingli was more difficult to deal with than I had imagined. This terrifying speculation flashed through my mind, and I subtly groped for the phone hidden under the pillow. Wenli, the last time you didn't leave with me, was it because you saw Shen Huaishu behind me? You're so smart, you figured it out right away. If we had torn our relationship apart on the spot, he definitely wouldn't have let us leave. There was excitement on Qingli's face, and he lowered his voice. But it doesn't matter, I have a new plan. Steal the household registration book. I'll come to pick you up tomorrow morning, and we'll go directly to register for marriage. Once we're married, no one can separate us. In my previous life, I was moved by his sweet words and impulsively got the marriage certificate. From then on, I was completely controlled by Qingli and became his bargaining chip to blackmail Shen Huaishu. Anger surged in my chest, and I couldn't wait to tear off his hideous mask right away, so I secretly pressed the recording button and forced myself to calm down. How did you get in here? Aren't you afraid that Shen Huaishu will find out? I bribed the security guards in the monitoring room. Pretty impressive, right? Looking at his self-satisfied posture, I took the opportunity to continue coaxing him. But what if Shen Huaishu catches up? What should we do then? He will definitely take revenge on us. Look. Do you see this? Qingli took out a box of pills from his pocket and waved it at me. You find a way to replace the box of pills in Shen Huaishu's pocket with this one later, and everything will be fine. In my previous life, Qingli tricked me into thinking that these were just small-dose sleeping pills, but in fact, the whole box was chronic poison, and it also had the side effect of stimulating Shen Huaishu's mental illness to flare up. Shen Huaishu had no defenses against me. After taking the fake medicine, he became dazed. He got into a car accident on his way to chase after me and almost lost his life. I clenched my teeth in resentment and forced a false smile. Okay, don't worry, Wenli, I love you, we'll be together soon. Qingli blew me a kiss pretending to be affectionate and got up to leave. I clenched the box of pills in my hand, and my expression turned cold. Now there is both the recording and the physical evidence. He probably won't be able to escape the charges of attempted murder and breaking into a private residence. The next day, I still hadn't figured out how to persuade Shen Huaishu to meet me. Then he pushed open the door. I ran up to him in surprise. Brother. There were dark circles under Shen Huaishu's eyes, as if he hadn't slept all night. Wenli, when you said you loved me, was it true? He looked at me stubbornly, with a sadness in his eyes that I couldn't understand. Shen Huaishu rarely called me by my full name, except when he was angry, so I felt an unexplainable sense of unease. Of course it's true, because of my lack of security, I instinctively wanted to hold Shen Huaishu's hand, but he dodged. Brother. I frowned in confusion and stood there awkwardly. Shen Huaishu smiled, but as he smiled, his eyes turned red. How much do you love me? So much that you want to kill me, right? Shen Huaishu flipped over the bedside table and stared fixedly at the box of pills that scattered on the ground. No, brother, I saw it all. What else do you want to argue about? Shen Huaishu sneered and took out a tablet. On it was clearly playing the video of the conversation between Qingli and me last night. He installed a monitor in the bedroom, which didn't happen in my previous life. I panicked and wanted to step forward, but was held back by the bodyguards. Baby, didn't I tell you? If you're going to deceive for a longer time, why can't you keep up the act so soon? Ironically, my elder brother almost fell for it again. Shen Huaishu grabbed my chin, his grip so strong that it seemed he wanted to crush me. His tone was sinister and full of madness. Brother, I didn't mean to harm you. Take out my phone and look. I secretly recorded everything Qingli said. I took this box of medicine to preserve the evidence. He was able to sneak in so easily last night because he had an insider. I suspect there are also his people in the company. Brother, you can choose not to believe me, but you must find the mole as soon as possible and use these evidences to put Qingli in jail. His target has never been me, but the Shen Corporation in your hands. Shen Huaishu's eyelashes trembled slightly, and his expression softened a bit. Do you really want me to sue him? Qingli said he would find a way to pick me up today. You should quickly send someone to search for any suspicious vehicles near the villa. I remember the license plate number is 7967, it would be best to catch him in the act. I added anxiously. Shen Huaishu slowly stroked my eyebrows and eyes, and his fingertips stopped on my lips. Baby, if you lie again, I will sew your mouth shut, and you will only be able to kiss me for the rest of your life. Shen Huaishu's voice was bone-chillingly cold. And he faintly curled his lips. You all go down and investigate now. Yes, soon. The bodyguards brought Qingli in, holding him captive. Shen Huaishu lazily reclined on the sofa and slightly raised his eyebrows. Baby, what do you think I should do to punish your old lover? He emphasized the last three words very heavily, as if venting his anger. Qingli struggled desperately and didn't forget to maintain his affectionate persona. Shen Huaishu, do you think you can separate us like this? No. Wenli will only hate you more. Wenli, don't be afraid, don't worry about me. As long as I can be with you, I'm not afraid of anything. Shen Huaishu's fingers gripping the classic glass tightened for a moment, revealing his unease. I gave him a reassuring smile and got up to walk in front of Qingli. I sneered and leisurely admired his embarrassed appearance. Why should I worry about you? You broke into a private residence, asked me to drug my brother, and tried to kill him. How should we settle this score? After saying that, I turned to look at Shen Huaishu. Is it too lenient to send him directly to the police station? Why don't we have someone drag him down and beat him up first, and say he fell on his own while trying to escape? Brother, remember to hire the best lawyer. Let's strive to make his sentence go from 5 years to 10 years. Or from 10 years to 20 years. Qingli was stunned for a few seconds and then screamed in disbelief, Wenli, are you crazy? I felt a bit of schadenfreude and said word by word, I'm not crazy, but you definitely have to be driven crazy by the torture. The bodyguards understood and promptly picked up Qingli and took him to the basement. The door was closed, and only Shen Huaishu and I were left in the room. The lighting in the room was a bit dim. He lowered his eyes, and the emotions in his eyes were hard to discern. Taking a bold step, I directly straddled his lap. I wrapped my arms around his neck, leaned forward, and rubbed my nose against his cheek. Brother, still don't believe me? Shen Huaishu's eyes darkened, and his tone was restrained. Baby, be good and get down. I won't. Do you still suspect me? I persisted and looked directly at him, pouting my lips in a pitiful way. I don't. Shen Huaishu's voice was slightly hoarse, and the veins on his neck bulged. If you don't, why are you still like this? I think you just don't believe me. My temper flared up, and I angrily bit his lower lip, looking at the distinct tooth mark on it. I felt like I had regained my dignity. Unexpectedly, the next second, everything turned upside down. Shen Huaishu skillfully pinned me underneath him. Our eyes met, and an ambiguous atmosphere filled the air. As if realizing what he had done, Shen Huaishu got up panting, I'm your brother. Don't make such jokes in the future. Looking at the tips of his red ears, I smiled and grabbed his tie. Shen Huaishu, do you really only see me as your sister? Shen Huaishu's face stiffened, his sexy Adam's apple rolled, and in the end, he couldn't give an answer, so I became even more daring and unbuttoned his shirt. My fingers stroked his abs and went all the way down, hooking onto his metal belt. But Shen Huaishu, I don't want to be your sister anymore. Shen Huaishu's personality is very contradictory. On the one hand, he is extremely paranoid and desires absolute control over people and things. On the other hand, he is extremely self-deprecating, which is also the reason why he didn't dare to express his feelings in my previous life, especially when facing me. Shen Huaishu often couldn't reconcile his feelings, therefore, I misunderstood him for most of my life. In this life, I don't want to miss him again, and I don't want to wait any longer. Since he doesn't dare to get close, then I will take the initiative. Baby, you will regret it. You don't know me. Shen Huaishu seemed to have some difficulty saying it, and his expression was gloomy. I will accept everything about you, whether you're in a suit and tie or hiding behind the wardrobe. Shen Huaishu installed a hidden door in my wardrobe. On many quiet nights, after I fell asleep, he would hug me. I also know that he has a secret room, which is densely filled with my photos, all of which were taken secretly. Well, it's kind of perverted. Baby, desire spread, and Shen Huaishu murmured my name almost obsessively. Seeing the crazy longing in his eyes, I tilted my head back and kissed him. Then everything started to get out of control. Shen Huaishu forcefully pressed the back of my head, seizing every bit of air in my mouth. The heat spread like wildfire, and Shen Huaishu brutally ignited my body. I hardly had any rationality left, and I pushed his solid chest with difficulty. Stop, not here. I was brave enough to tease him just now, but now that it's really the critical moment, I'm a bit hesitant. Shen Huaishu chuckled, and his movements became even more intense. Baby, don't be in a hurry, we'll go one place at a time. Help, is he deliberately misinterpreting my meaning? In the end, I was carried onto the desk by Shen Huaishu. In a daze, I accidentally swept the diary off the desk. It fell to the ground and opened in a messy way. A soft spot of light spilled in through the gap in the curtains and happened to fall on the sentence that I couldn't finish reading in my previous life. It read, "The pear flower is a metaphor, and you are the real thing." And that pear flower was still in full bloom, exuding a fresh pale white color. Feeling Shen Huaishu's strong heartbeat, my tears suddenly fell. Shen Huaishu kissed the corner of my eye and said softly, "Did I hurt you?" "No." "Then why are you crying?" "I'm just too happy, baby. I can make you even happier." He smiled and coaxed me, deliberately softening his voice, which made him seem even more alluring and affectionate. I've heard this nickname many times, but I still blush. This night seemed both extremely long and extremely short. How should I describe it? It's as if I've lived 2 lifetimes, but only at this moment do I truly want to live. I originally thought that life would go on peacefully like this, but in just half a month, I received the news that Qingli was released from prison. What on earth is going on? The unknown fear is always particularly tormenting, and I slapped the desk in a hurry. Shen Huaishu took my hand and gently rubbed it, carefully examining it. "Does it hurt? It's all red." "Ah, it doesn't hurt. Hurry up and talk about the important thing." I gave him an impatient look and said anxiously, "That day, I tentatively told Shen Huaishu about my memories of the previous life. He investigated several department managers according to the clues I gave, but found nothing. This made me even more panicked. Why isn't things developing according to the pattern of my previous life? Shen Huaishu pursed his lips, looking a bit like a wronged little wife who didn't dare to voice her anger. Aren't I just caring about you, baby? Do you dislike me now? Talk about the important thing. Oh, then tell me. It's just that someone found a scapegoat for Qingli to take the blame. And also spent a large amount of bail money to release him, so in the end, he was only classified as a burglary case. How is that possible? There must be a big shot behind him, otherwise, just by himself, he couldn't have handled these things so thoroughly and wouldn't have been able to come up with so much money. Qingli came from a poor family and had a tough time in the early years, in my previous life. He wanted to use me as a stepping stone to enter the Shin Corporation and rise to the top in one fell swoop. I've already sent people to investigate. Shen Huaishu handed me a stack of documents. It clearly recorded the income and expenditure records of Qingli's bank account. He just got out of prison yesterday. How could he transfer 500,000 yuan in my previous life? Before Qingli and I got married, Shen Huaishu sent someone to investigate his net worth. It was exactly 500,000 yuan. Neither more nor less. This was all the savings he had accumulated from working after graduation. He had always been greedy for money, so how could he spend all his savings at once? Qingli is very smart. This money has passed through several accounts and even went overseas once, but the more cautious he is, the more it indicates that there is a problem. So I dug deeper and found that the recipient is the person in charge of our headquarters. Has the mole been caught? Yes, I've already sent people to monitor them. I also basically have a grasp of their specific plan. I let out a sigh of relief. I still feel that things aren't that simple. Don't worry, I'll handle it well. Just as I was starting to feel at ease, Shen Huaishu's special assistant knocked on the door with a serious expression. Come in, President. Company R has just launched a batch of new products. Their new products are exactly the same as our unannounced patents, from the packaging to the formula. I know, don't panic. You immediately notify the senior management and hold a meeting right away. The shareholders are already in the meeting room. The special assistant looked at me and hesitated to speak. Go on. The manager of the RD department said that a Mr. Qingli reported anonymously that Miss Wen leaked the business secrets. The shareholders are very emotional now. I see. I'll go there right away. I nervously grabbed Shen Huaishu's hand. I didn't do it. I believe you. Shen Huaishu calmly opened the computer and uploaded the materials, as if he wasn't surprised at all. Did you already guess that Qingli would cause this trouble? Shen Huaishu held my hand back, with a calm smile but a hint of fierceness in his eyes. I didn't originally want to push him to his death, but he shouldn't have, above all else. Targeted you. In the meeting room, Qingli's gaze landed on the hands that Shen Huaishu and I were holding, and his expression turned venomous. Shen Huaishu pressed my shoulder and motioned for me to sit in the upper seat that originally belonged to him, and he stood by my side. Suddenly, the expressions of everyone in the room changed slightly, and the looks they gave me became more reserved. Handing the USB drive to the secretary, Shen Huaishu calmly spoke. I heard that you all have some opinions about my girlfriend. Everyone present was a shrewd person. After seeing Shen Huaishu's attitude towards me, they all started to play for time and didn't want to be the one to take the lead. Qingli's face turned darker and darker, and he couldn't hold back and stood up. Mr. Shen, I want to report that Miss Wen leaked the business secrets. Do you have any evidence? Shen Huaishu raised his lips calmly, looking relaxed. Wen Li and I used to be in a relationship, so we were bound to the same email account. These days, I accidentally found that she sent a lot of internal materials to Group R. How can you prove that these documents were sent by Wen Li? Hacking accounts is a common thing these days. I also have a video of Wen Li entering and leaving the laboratory to copy the materials, as well as the bank transfer records. The receipts show that Wen Li has transferred money to the person in charge of Group R several times. How do you explain these? Cold sweat broke out on my palms, and I angrily looked at Qingli. At that time, Qingli told me that Shen Huaishu had ruined his postgraduate project in order to force him to leave, and he asked me to go to the laboratory of the Shin Corporation to help him find some clues. When we were in a relationship, Qingli also lied to me, saying that he wanted to prepare a marriage fund for our future and tricked me into transferring money to an account every month. I never expected that he had already started making plans for himself so early. transferring money doesn't necessarily mean it's an improper transaction, and entering the laboratory doesn't necessarily mean it's related to this leakage of secrets. If any of the shareholders have doubts about these behaviors, I don't mind applying for the intervention of the judicial authorities for investigation. After all, I also really want to know which mastermind behind the scenes has been dragging my people into trouble. Qingli seemed not to have expected that Shen Huaishu would be so calm and composed, and a trace of crack appeared in his proud expression. In my previous life, the reason why he could provoke Shen Huaishu time and time again and take advantage of the loopholes was that he had me in his grasp. But this time, Shen Huaishu had no weaknesses. Qingli's expression was a bit ferocious, and his face turned red as he shouted loudly, "Then does Mr. Shen dare to find someone to confront me? You're welcome to do so at any time." Qingli glanced at me and said impatiently, "The witnesses are the financial officer of Group R and the manager of the scientific research department of the Shen Corporation. They are both willing to testify that when they secretly operated to leak the secrets." "Is that so? Then let's hear it." Shen Huaishu propped himself up on the conference table with one hand and leaned slightly forward with his upper body. He exuded an intimidating sense of oppression even though he didn't really do anything, as if he was sure of victory. Qingli grinned, and there was even a hint of contempt in his eyes when he looked at Shen Huaishu. I secretly laughed in my heart. It's just like opening champagne in the middle of the game. He's just a complete clown. But on the surface, I still pretended to be weak and vulnerable. Let him be happy for a while longer. This way, the sense of uneveness will be big enough, right? Qingli was full of confidence, and his nostrils kept flaring because of excitement. "Speak up, you guys, hurry up and say it." The female financial officer hesitated for a moment, then directly knelt on the ground and started crying. "Mr. Shen, Qingli forced me to come and slander Miss Wen. I'm a girl with no one to rely on outside, and I really had no choice. Mr. Shen, please save me." The manager of the scientific research department followed suit, with a sorrowful expression on his face. "I was temporarily bewitched and accepted Qingli's bribe, so I intended to frame Miss Wen. In fact, all of this was planned by Qingli, and he also stole the patent. I beg Mr. Shen to show mercy considering that I turned myself in." Yes, it was all planned by Qingli. He had long colluded with Group R to deal with our Shen Corporation, the financial officer hastily echoed. In tears, Shen Huaishu was richer than Qingli or Group R, and his methods were even more ruthless. He just invited their families to spend a few days on vacation in the private valley under the Shen Corporation's name, and these two moles were so scared that they defected immediately. The situation was reversed in an instant, and Qingli was so shocked that he could hardly stand steady. "You're crazy, how dare you frame me? Bitch, you took my benefits and then turned against me. They're all talking nonsense. Don't believe them." Qingli was so angry that he didn't care about his image and started cursing. He even blurted out and admitted to bribing others without thinking. The shareholders present all showed expressions of disgust and made sighing sounds. These voices undoubtedly stimulated Qingli's broken nerves again. He rushed up and tried to hit me. "It's you, isn't it you who did this?" The security guards rushed forward quickly and controlled him. Looking at his twisted appearance lying on the carpet, Shen Huaishu leisurely turned on the large screen. On it were scrolling the criminal evidence of Qingli and the transaction videos of hiring people to convict others. "Congratulations, you've got 2 new charges. You've known about this for a long time, haven't you? I'm going to kill you all. Wen Li, even though you're my wife, you still dared to betray me. The thing I regret the most is not killing you earlier. No, Group R will protect me. We're in the same boat, and I've done so much for them. They can't just ignore me." Qingli roared wildly, and his resentful eyes seemed to pierce through me. "You're thinking too much. Group R can't even save itself now, so how can they have the time to take care of you?" Shen Huaishu smiled sarcastically and looked down on Qingli's ugly appearance. The assistant enlarged the small window at the bottom of the screen, and it strikingly showed the live broadcast page. Group R originally wanted to join forces with Qingli to put the Shen Corporation in a situation of internal and external troubles, but now they have completely shot themselves in the foot. There were already tens of thousands of bullet comments, all accusing Group R of being shameless. Public opinion was boiling, and the stock price plummeted. Group R probably had no chance of making a comeback. "This is impossible. If we do it again, I can't lose to you all again." Qingli stared wide-eyed as if he couldn't rest in peace, and his behavior became more and more crazy. "Do it again." Hearing this sentence, I was suddenly stunned. and my hands and feet instantly turned cold. Qingli had also been reborn. No wonder I didn't find anything when I tried to catch the mole according to my memories of the previous life. I couldn't imagine how miserably we would have lost if Shen Huaishu hadn't made preparations in advance this time. Shen Huaishu keenly sensed my emotions and squeezed my palm. Don't worry, even if we do it 100 times over, he's no match for your man. As long as you're on my side, I can't lose. The sound of police sirens came closer and closer. And 2 policemen came in to arrest Qingli. The shareholders left one after another, and the assistant started cleaning up the scene. Just when everyone relaxed their vigilance, Qingli suddenly broke free from the restraint while the police were putting handcuffs on him. He desperately grabbed my neck and took out a small knife and pressed it against my face. Step back, all of you step back. Okay, we'll all step back. Shen Huaishu had to let go of the hand that was holding my arm. And his voice trembled. Taking a deep breath, I tried to negotiate. You're hurting someone in front of the police now, and there's no turning back for you. If you let me go now, maybe you can get a lighter sentence. Turning back, you've all pushed me to this point. What turning back do I have? Qingli roared viciously, and the knife in his hand cut my cheek. I sucked in a breath of cold air in pain, and my fingers curled up in pain. Calm down. You can put forward any conditions you want. Shen Huaishu was tense all over, staring at me without moving. Fine, then all of you can be buried with me. I can't escape, and neither of you will have a good time. Do it again, you're still no match for me. Qingli's eyes were blood red, and he held me hostage and moved to the corner. He kicked over the water dispenser bucket and laughed wildly. Didn't you expect this? I still have a backup plan. Does this feeling seem familiar? This time, you're still going to die in my hands. I don't know when he replaced the water inside with gasoline. The pungent smell quickly filled the air. I couldn't stop shivering and said in despair, Shen Huaishu, leave quickly. Qingli lit the lighter and said in a mean tone, yo, so infatuated. As long as you don't hurt Wenli, I can give you the Shen Corporation. The police quickly evacuated the crowd and warned Shen Huaishu in a low voice to leave, but he just stared at me without the slightest sign of wavering. My lover is still here. I can't leave. Tears fell like broken beads, and I struggled violently. Shen Huaishu, go, leave. Qingli's hand around my neck kept tightening and threatened, shut up. My eyes went dark, and I coughed violently, almost vomiting up my bile. You, smear the gasoline on yourself. As long as you die, I'll let her go. How about that? I shook my head desperately at Shen Huaishu. My heart was clenched into a ball, and the pain was almost suffocating. Okay, I'll do as you say. Shen Huaishu squatted down and scooped up the gasoline and smeared it on his clothes. Qingli had already lost his mind and laughed loudly. Wenli, look, you've killed him again. I'm not the culprit, you are. When you're underground, don't blame me. Blame yourselves for being useless. No, baby, you're not wrong. From the beginning to the end, it's him who's been causing trouble. Shen Huaishu smiled gently at me. The warmth between us obviously made Qingli even more excited. And his hand holding the lighter started to shake. Only the weak make excuses for their failures and shift the blame after they fail. Shen Huaishu stood up and pressed forward step by step. You're talking nonsense. I didn't lose. I didn't lose. I didn't lose at all. Qingli completely broke down, kept muttering to himself, and his movements became sluggish. In a moment of distraction, he exposed the part of his body that had been hidden behind me. The police hiding in the dark pulled the trigger and shot Qingli. Run. Shen Huaishu seized the opportunity and pounced on me, tightly protecting me under him. The lighter fell uncontrollably, and in an instant, flames burst out and the heat wave roared. The electronic devices made ear-piercing cracking sounds, and the current crackled. A sense of fear swept over me, and I held his bloodless face and cried out hoarsely, Shen Huaishu, wake up! Wake up! Help! Someone come quickly! Fortunately, the fire brigade had been on standby downstairs, and the fire was extinguished in time, but Shen Huaishu's back was still severely burned. In the hospital room, I couldn't stop crying when I looked at his body covered in bandages. The terrifying images from my previous life kept flashing in my mind, and I was extremely scared. Shen Huaishu looked at me with tears in my eyes and smiled helplessly. Come here and give me a hug. I wiped away my tears and carefully nestled into his arms. Yes, I've completely gotten rid of Shen Huaishu, this pervert, but I'm still scared. Let's not think about this, let's talk about something else. After my mind slowly turned for a long time, I still subconsciously thought of Shen Huaishu's choice to sacrifice himself for me in both lifetimes. When he agreed to Qingli's request, he didn't even hesitate. It seems that in Shen Huaishu's world, there's only me, and nothing else is enough to hold him back. Shen Huaishu, is there anything you can't let go of? Yes, but very few. For example, the evening breeze I felt when I saw you on that early summer night, and you who were willing to kiss me when you were 18, my cheeks burned, and I felt a bit awkward unconsciously. Really, I can't stand it when this pervert suddenly acts pure. Then aren't you afraid of death, if I die? Will my tombstone have your name on it? Shen Huaishu held me tightly and laughed in a low voice. Yes, then I'm not afraid anymore. Story 2. After 8 years of marriage to Qin Mo, I experienced an ectopic pregnancy with my first child. During that time, he held me tightly and reassured me, whether we have children or not won't affect our relationship, I only need you. However, on the day I had my surgery, he spent the whole evening holding a canary, watching fireworks. He even said to the canary, only I would want a hen that can't lay eggs. As the fireworks lit up the sky like a myriad of stars, our child was forever lost to sleep. It's okay, I don't need the child or the husband anymore. When Qin Mo returned from a business trip, I was sorting out his clothes and found a piece of women's lingerie. Upon seeing it, he casually threw it into the trash can saying, "Can you stop snooping around my things?" The edge of the black fabric was carelessly hanging over the rim of the bin. Qin Mo's phone was on the bedside table and lit up while I was lost in thought. Numbly, I picked it up and unlocked it. The password was still my birthday. The WeChat profile picture was a plush rabbit. Are you up yet? I scrolled up to find Qin Mo had taken a photo of the clothes lying in the trash can. Brother is so naughty. Stealing someone's clothes and even getting them dirty. Qin Mo sent her 10,000 yuan with a message. Is this enough to buy 10 pieces? Send me pictures when you get them. Do you want pictures with them on or off? What do you think, brother? You're so naughty. I forced myself to endure the disgust and photographed all the chat records with my phone, then set the message status to unread and put the phone back. Qin Mo came in smelling of cooking oil. I prepared the food. Do you want me to cut some fruit for you? I gave him a faint smile. Sure. As soon as he turned around, I rushed to the bathroom to vomit. Hearing the noise, he didn't come back but impatiently shouted from the doorway, I told you not to eat random stuff. You never listen. I think your infertility is because of your eating habits, always blaming your poor health. Remembering the chat logs I had just seen, I felt a surge of nausea and almost threw up bile. The girl had asked him how it felt. He replied, nowhere as good as you, shy, JPG. What about your wife? Her body's like dried raisins, more off-putting than a streetwalker's. I'll wear the new clothes for you when they arrive. Oh my, I'm so embarrassed. I came out of the bathroom pale-faced. He was already sitting at the dining table, eating and rapidly texting. He just glanced at me briefly and then lowered his head. About that piece of clothing. He abruptly put down his chopsticks and phone, irritation clear in his expression. That was a sample given to me by a new project partner at the company. Can you stop digging into every little thing, Suman? It's really annoying, you know. After Qin Mo left the house, I went to the hospital alone. This wasn't the first time I had experienced such vomiting. It was just the first time he had seen it. We had always wanted a child, although my body never seemed to agree. He had said before that we could go without children, but as time passed, seeing him enviously looking at other people's children always filled me with guilt and sadness. I loved him so deeply and wanted to have our own child, to build a proper home together. I had suggested separating, but he cried and protested. He said he would never leave me just because we couldn't have children. That wasn't what a man would do. But when did he become so cold and heartless towards me? We first met when he was the notorious bully at 3rd middle school, and I was a nerdy bookworm. It was a cliché scene. I saw him fighting at the school gates and called the police for him. After that, the thugs he fought with started targeting me. One day, they cornered me on the way home from school. Heard you're his girl. If we can't beat him, beating his woman is just the same. Before they could touch me, he appeared, cigarette in mouth, and kicked the ruffian who tried to hurt me. At first, he always called me dummy, bookworm. Later, he called me sister, because he couldn't attend the same school as me and cried the whole day. During the repeat year of his studies, he would always sneak off to my school. Seeing me walking with another guy would bring him to tears. You can't flirt with anyone else. I've set my heart on you. Watching you with someone else might as well kill me. To ease his mind, I visited him once a week. Later, his family cut off his allowance because he refused to study abroad. I worked part-time jobs tirelessly, working whenever I wasn't in class. It was a struggle, but we managed to get him through that repeat year. Eventually, he joined me at my school. and once we made our relationship official, he always talked about spending our lives together. In his third year, while I was interning elsewhere, he and his friends were busy starting a business. Sometimes we wouldn't see each other for a month, but he would still call me daily, insisting on keeping the video call going even during his classes. That was until he collapsed from exhaustion and got pneumonia after getting caught in the rain, which landed him in the hospital. I took time off work to take care of him. When he woke up, he hugged me and cried, Man, I'm scared of dying because I can't bear the thought of never seeing you again. Will you stay by my side forever? I won't let you suffer, I promise." He kept his word and within a year became a rising tech mogul in the capital. I no longer had to desperately seek clients and chase performance targets. Clients flocked to us like butterflies to a flower. And within 6 months, I had started my own company. Even his father began to see him in a new light. Yet, despite my accomplishments matching his father still looked down on me. "She has no power or background, a simple family history. How will she help you in the future?" The first time he took me home, his father said this right in front of me, but he firmly held me close and said, "I want her, and no one else. Would you want her even if she can't have children?" At that time, his father even dug up my medical records from the hospital. Due to overworking during my part-time jobs in college, I was told by doctors that my chances of getting pregnant were slim. Upon hearing this, Chin Mo simply said, "It doesn't matter, having children or not won't affect our relationship. I just need you." But today, he poured scalding hot tea into my already festering wound. The scab might never form now. Just 3 weeks ago, a new life began growing inside me. I sent a message to my best friend. She sent a bunch of congratulations. Finally, I get to be a godmother. It's an ectopic pregnancy, and also, Chin Mo has cheated. She then retracted all her previous messages and sent one last line. "If you don't leave him, don't come to me." I called Chin Mo, but his assistant answered the phone. He never let his assistant answer my calls because he had told the assistant that he must personally take calls from me. "Madam, the boss is currently unavailable." The assistant's voice was anxious, fearing my reaction. As I had always been temperamental and delicate since being with him, people say love is like nurturing a flower. I could be delicate when he loved me, but without his love, my delicacy became disgusting. "I understand. Tell him to come home tonight." I prepared a table full of his favorite dishes, but he didn't return even by midnight, nor did he call. I reluctantly used my morning memory to search for that girl's WeChat name on Weibo. I actually found it, and just a minute ago, she had posted a status. She had just uploaded a photo of a man, topless and face unseen, in a dim and blurry light, yet, I recognized him at first glance. It was Chin Mo. His physique was impressive, with well-defined abs and broad shoulders tapering to a slim waist. Even at 28, he still maintained himself well, but what made me recognize him wasn't his body, but it wasn't just the faint scar on his left shoulder, but now there was a fresh bite mark on that shoulder. The girl's caption read, "A seal of love for brother's metal heart." Every time, when our emotions ran deep, I would bite the scar on his shoulder. Each time, he would laugh softly, looking both rogue and handsome. "Sis, still got the strength to bite me? How about a few more times?" Sometimes when he annoyed me, he would cheekily bring his shoulder close to my mouth for a bite. "Come on, a bite and it won't hurt anymore. I'll let sister bite me for a lifetime." What did I say back then? I said, "You better keep your word, or I'll never look back for the rest of my life." It turns out there was indeed a day when I had to fulfill my own promise. Well, no need for a farewell dinner now. I just can't figure it out. My husband was fine. How did he suddenly turn bad? Everyone said I married a good man, that everyone should look for a man like Chin Mo. It was only after I went through this girl's Weibo thoroughly that I understood. Turns out she was a girl his family had once sponsored. Her first Weibo post was a photo with Chin Mo, the brother who sponsors me. "He's so handsome. When will I ever be worthy to stand by his side?" In the photo, Chin Mo stood beside her with a slightly cynical air, his expression unreadable, but I saw a unique tenderness in his eyes that was reserved just for him. I remembered a day after we were together. He mentioned that his family was sponsoring a little girl who was very hardworking and always wanted to come to our city. He only brought her up that one time. Early the next day, he rushed back looking disheveled. His usual neat shirt was only half-tucked, and his beard had grown quite a bit. But his face wore a look of satisfaction. When he saw me having breakfast, he came over wanting to hug and kiss me, but I coldly pushed him away. "Dirty." He playfully scraped my nose and chuckled. "Still mad? Didn't my assistant tell you yesterday?" I had to finalize a project urgently, didn't even come home. I put down my chopsticks. I'm going to work. He put down his briefcase, took off his coat, and tried to hug me. I kept his hands away. I said, I'm going to work. He suddenly frowned. Didn't I tell you that you don't have to work this hard? Why are you going to work again? I've rested long enough. I looked into his eyes, void of any emotion. Half a year ago, I was accidentally hit by a prop on the set and nearly drowned. Chin Mo was both angry and scared. Not only did he sue the entire production team, but he also used drastic measures to bring down the investors. Afterwards, he didn't want me to work, saying he was afraid I would get hurt again. And that he could earn plenty of money. Indeed, he wasn't lying. He gave me dozens of credit cards, each with no spending limit. I'll drive you. He grabbed his clothes and keys and followed me out. I knew I couldn't argue with him, so I let him drive me. I had forgotten to bring a hair tie, so I casually opened the central glove compartment. A pack of sanitary pads, one missing, and an opened pack of brown sugar ginger tea lay quietly inside. My blood froze instantly, and I was stuck in place. I'm allergic to that brand of sanitary pads, and I never drink brown sugar ginger tea, because I hate ginger. Chin Mo noticed my unusual behavior and pulled over. Seeing me staring blankly at the items inside, he picked up the hair tie from those items and handed it to me. Isn't this what you were looking for? I stared at him coldly. Aren't you going to explain? These aren't yours. What's there to explain? His impatience showed again, and I calmly smiled. Yes, there's nothing to explain. The old me would have probably made a scene by now, but today, the more evidence of his infidelity, the more relaxed I became. He seemed to be struck by my response, becoming completely stiff. Before leaving, he tenderly tied up my hair. There, it's been too long since you rode in my car. You've forgotten your own things. Has it been too long since I rode in his car, or too long since he loved me? I didn't ask, because I no longer wanted the trash that could be so easily taken away. Just after arriving at the company, I asked my assistant for the contact details of the best divorce lawyer in the city. I also scheduled surgery for next week, and Zhou Wan booked her flight in advance, saying she would come to accompany me. So, my visit to the company today was solely to clear up the shares, preparing for the property division. But I didn't expect her to come. She was very beautiful, dressed in branded and luxury items. She didn't look at all like she came from a rural area. Instead, she seemed like a pampered city girl who had been coddled for over 20 years. Miss Sue, you know who I am, right? As she spoke, she placed her handbag on the table. The logo on the bag was familiar to me. It was from a private workshop where Chin Mo had my custom bags made. The owner was quite peculiar, making custom bags only for Chin Mo. Wow, I can't believe brother gave you such a big company, and I'm just a little assistant under him. What, you want more? She chuckled lightly. Of course, but I'm not in a hurry. Once you step down, all this will naturally be mine. You probably don't know, but brother said you're like a hen that can't lay eggs. She looked somewhat smug. I raised an eyebrow. So what? I can bear children. I'll give brother many. Many children. You must know how much brother loves children. She showed me a video. It was a video of Chin Mo and her playing games with children at an orphanage. In the video, Chin Mo was laughing happily, walking along with the children, exchanging smiles with her. Then she opened another video, this one in a hotel. In the video, she asked Chin Mo, your wife hasn't had children, you don't blame her. A hen that can't lay eggs, what's there to blame? She's only useful to me. Hearing the man's condescending tone, I remained unusually calm. You're the best. He casually blew smoke rings. Isn't it good to set oneself up as a good man? After the video ended, I felt a surge of nausea and hurried to the restroom to vomit. It was utterly disgusting. I directly called Chin Mo. His assistant answered the phone. I forced a smile. His little canary came to trouble me. Seems she wasn't pampered enough. Do I need to send her back to him? Less than 10 minutes later, Chin Mo arrived. The girl hid behind him upon seeing him. Brother. He anxiously looked her over, seeing nothing wrong, and then turned to ask me, you didn't do anything to her, did you? I crushed the cigarette in my hand, unable to smoke, just holding it to smell, so anxious. He frowned at the cigarette between my fingers. When did you? I stood up, leaning on the desk with a bright smile. Why not hide it better? Chin Mo's expression stiffened, and he distanced himself from the girl. It's not what you think. Ching Ching is just my assistant. Remember, she's a girl my family once helped. I nodded. I remember. He seemed to breathe a sigh of relief, then tossed Su Qing's bag to her and told her to go out. Su Qing stomped her foot in frustration. "Brother, get out," he suddenly yelled at her. Even I was startled. His eyes, red and full of fury, softened when he turned to look at me, replaced by the tenderness and fear I hadn't seen in a long time. "Man, wife. I didn't know she would come to you. I won't let her appear in front of you anymore, whatever." I waved nonchalantly, indifferent to wherever she chose to go. He seemed surprised by my calm demeanor, but mostly, he appeared relieved. He walked over, took my hand gently, and kissed it. "Wife, I'm sorry, I was wrong these past few days." He rambled on about how busy work was and how tired he felt. He even apologized for the harsh words he had spoken that morning and went so far as to show me a lingerie collaboration project his company was working on. I was so annoyed by his incessant chatter and disgusted to the point of nausea. After pulling my hand away, I took a document out of the drawer and handed it to him. He opened it with a puzzled look. "What's this?" He had just pulled out half of the paper from the envelope when he suddenly threw the contract on the table. "I disagree." It was a divorce agreement. I had printed it out as soon as I arrived, and the lawyer had mentioned that our financial ties weren't extensive, though now there was a child involved. Truthfully, I hadn't initially wanted him, but when I found out he was coming, I couldn't bear to let go. Fortunately, fate made the choice for me. It was as if even the heavens were aiding me. He paced around the office. "Why, man, I've apologized. Why do you still want a divorce?" "Because of Qing. I've told you. She's just my assistant. You don't like her. Fine, I'll fire her right away." Watching him flit about in front of me like a desperate clown, I had to interrupt him. "Stop pretending. It's nauseating." "I'm not," he said, pouting, his voice trembling and his expression as anxious as the day our college entrance exam results were released. That was the first time I saw him cry. Ever since he played the hero and rescued me, he had always followed me around. He'd follow me to and from school and appear at my classroom door during breaks, fooling around with a group of boys. Someone teased him. "Something's off. Hanging around our class door every day. Who has caught your eye?" "Who else but the best," he admitted openly. Back then, I was the top student in my grade, and everyone knew who he was referring to. His friends joked, "She's the top student. Liking her won't change your prospects. You guys are destined for different universities." From that day on, he did more than just follow me. He clung to me for tutoring and begged for my class notes. Over time, even those who knew him began to believe he had truly changed. Because of me, even the teachers tolerated his occasional skipping of classes to join mine, because he was so diligent, uncharacteristically so. Yet even with all his efforts, he still didn't perform well. I was the humanities valedictorian, and his scores could only get him into a second-tier university. He knew I wouldn't lower my standards to choose a university with him, so on the day the results were announced, he first congratulated me with a smile, but then he started crying. Man, what do we do? I don't want to be separated from you. I just can't." I scolded him playfully. "Stop playing the victim." "I'm not," he replied, looking as pitiful as a puppy that had been abandoned. Only then did I truly believe that the school's tough guy, the big-shot bully, was genuinely heartbroken because he couldn't attend the same university as me. The same trick, which had deceived me over a decade ago, no longer worked. Seeing that I remained unmoved, he quickly switched tactics. "Suman, I'm begging you, please, can't you forgive me just this once? Why, after over a decade of being together, you want to just call it quits?" "I won't sign the papers." "Absolutely not. You can forget about it." He tore the divorce agreement to shreds, as if to vent his frustration. I sat there watching his tantrum, completely unmoved, until he slammed the door and left. A tear fell onto the table with a soft plink. I raised my hand to wipe it away, but the tears kept coming. After all, we had been together for so many years. How did it come to this? For 5 consecutive days, Chin Mo didn't come home at night. It seemed like he was doing it on purpose. Having his friends take loads of photos and posting them online. All the pictures showed him getting cozy with Yi Qing. There were photos of them kissing in a club, bungee jumping together, and having a water fight at the beach. He looked carefree in every single one. I had someone move all my belongings out of the house and burned what I didn't want. What couldn't be burned, I smashed. They weren't even worthy of being called trash, just worthless junk. In less than a day, the house was empty. After I finished, Zhou Wan came over. As soon as I met her, we went to the hospital. She looked at my thin face, tears streaming down her cheeks. "It's been tough, my treasure." I held her hand, not crying, but feeling a warmth in my heart. "It's okay, it's like I've died and come back." Before the surgery, the doctor asked for a family member to sign the paperwork. Since I had no relatives around, the only person left was Chin Mo. I had no choice but to call him. Maybe he would want to see his unborn child one last time. As soon as the call connected, I could hear a girl's moaning on the other end. "Brother, let go of me, damn it, your mother's dead." Zhou couldn't help but shout into the phone. Yiqing suddenly started crying. "Woo-woo, brother, someone cursed at me." Chin Mo, as if just realizing, picked up the phone with a fierce tone. "Su-man, why the hell are you barking? Didn't you say I have something going on with Qingqing? There was nothing before, but there is now. Are you happy? Even so, don't even think about divorcing me. Who else would want you? Only I would want someone who can't have children." I suppressed my anger and calmly said, "I'm at the hospital. I need you to come and sign a document." Yiqing giggled over the phone. "Brother, come help me. I can't fasten my clothes." Chin Mo's hoarse voice suddenly seemed distant. "Wait." Then it sounded closer. "No time." He hung up the phone. I smiled at the nurse and asked if I could sign for myself. She had overheard the entire conversation and gave me a deep look before slowly nodding. Zhou was sobbing uncontrollably beside me. Before entering the surgery room, I checked Yiqing's social media. 10 minutes ago, she had posted a new status. "Qingqing, woo-woo, I just cried my eyes out. But brother said he's arranged fireworks all over the capital for me to see later. I'm so happy." Just then, the lawyer called. He told me we had enough evidence to file for divorce. Suddenly, I felt the child was fortunate. "Baby, it's good you won't come into this world. Find mommy again in your next life," I whispered to my belly. When I opened my eyes again, it wasn't Zhou I saw, but Yiqing. After looking around, I eventually just closed my eyes again. "No need to look anymore. He doesn't know," Yiqing said as she sat down in front of me, arms crossed. "I heard it was an ectopic pregnancy. Such a pity. Your brother almost had a child." "Get out," I said weakly, my voice sounding as if I were crying. She seemed unaffected and even chuckled. "But no worries, I'll soon have your brother's child. Last night, he didn't use protection. He said he wanted a child with me." Of course, I agreed immediately. I couldn't wait. Just then, Zhou came in with a food tray, saw her sitting by my bed, and without a word, threw the tray at her, splashing her with soup. "What kind of tramp dares to make a scene here?" Yiqing screamed, calling Zhou a crazy woman, and started pulling her hair. I struggled to get up and began throwing anything I could find on the table at Yiqing. Zhou quickly twisted her head towards me, and I hit her with a water pitcher, immediately raising a bump on her head. The next second, she came at me. I managed to press the call button, but still couldn't dodge her slap. Already weak, I was left completely drained of energy. Zhou, furious, kicked her relentlessly in the stomach until hospital staff intervened to separate them. Eventually, they were both taken to the police station, and I lay in the hospital directing my lawyer to assist Zhou. At the police station, Zhou and Su-man's lawyer sat on one side, while Yiqing hid behind Chin Mo. He sternly asked why Su-man hadn't come. Clutching his arm, Yiqing wept. "Brother, it was Su-man who hit me on the forehead. Many people saw it." Zhou raised her hand to hit her again, saying, "Looks like I didn't hit you enough. Come here." The lawyer quickly pulled her back. Chin Mo suddenly shouted, "Enough. Why isn't Su-man here?" Zhou spat at him disdainfully. "Get lost, you and your tramp. Don't even think about knowing where Su-man is." Ultimately, since the surveillance footage showed that Zhou was the instigator, she had to compensate financially, but she felt it was money well spent. "You're welcome, you whore. Consider this a reward from me for taking care of that trash for my friend." Before getting into the car, Chin Mo tried to stop her. He felt uneasy, aware that something was off. Zhou rarely came back from abroad, and now she was here without Su-man, who couldn't be reached by phone. It didn't make sense that Su-man would be unaware of the conflict. He tried to detain her, but her lawyer suddenly handed him a divorce petition. "Mr. Qin, I am Zhangqing, M.S. Su-man's divorce attorney. Here is M.S. Su-man's petition for divorce. The court will notify you to appear. Prepare yourself." Stunned, Chin Mo shook his head in disbelief. "Impossible, she wouldn't divorce me. Are you a scammer? How much money do you want?" Zhou, mustering all her strength, slapped him. "This slap is on behalf of my friend. Just get lost. You think too highly of yourself. Feeling superior even after an affair. What makes you think she wouldn't divorce you? It's her fault. She doesn't trust me." Chin Mo bellowed, his eyes red with anger. Zhou scoffed derisively at his pathetic excuse. She refused to listen to him and, pulling the car door open, prepared to leave, but he persisted. "Where is Sue Man? I need to see her." "Why should I tell you?" After that, Zhou brushed off his hand and left with her lawyer. Qin Mo followed closely behind her. Zhou frowned. "I forgot to shake him off." I patted her hand reassuringly, telling her it was okay. This day was bound to come sooner or later. Soon, only Qin Mo and I were left in the hospital room. He was still clutching the lawsuit papers my lawyer had given him. "Wife," he stuttered, looking at me helplessly, perhaps alarmed by the paleness of my lips. "What's wrong with you?" His fingers trembled as he tried to touch my face, but I turned away, furrowing my brow. "Don't touch me with your filthy hands, it's disgusting." He quickly withdrew his hand, repeatedly wiping it on his suit. "I'm not dirty, I haven't done anything. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you tell me you were hospitalized?" "Because you don't deserve to know," I said, looking at him steadily. "My child, he didn't deserve to see, so there was no need to tell him. I thought I wouldn't know anything after the anesthesia, but he once shared a heart with me. He was once a vibrant life. I didn't even get a chance to look at him properly before he was gone. But he didn't seem lonely, because when he left, there were fireworks everywhere. The nurse told me that the fireworks started all over the capital just after my surgery was finished. They were beautiful, spectacular. One nurse said to me, although he didn't come into this world, he saw the spectacular fireworks as he left. In his next life, he will surely have a splendid life, and so will you in the future. Yes, I will too in the future. So I need to let go of things that don't let me shine, although the fireworks were not meant for me. My child saw them, so I thank them for that. I don't agree to the divorce. Man, I was wrong. I really was wrong." He suddenly knelt on the ground, not daring to place his hands on my bed but leaning against it, and began to cry with his head bowed. I held my head high, trying hard not to shed tears. After a long silence, I finally sniffed and said, "Qin Mo." He suddenly looked up. "Wife, you will forgive me, right?" His face was tear-streaked and pitiful, and he indeed knew how to tug at my heartstrings. With a handsome face and a look of utter grievance, along with tears streaming down his face. But now, my heart was hardened. "You always say you were wrong, but do you really think you were wrong? Actually, you intentionally let me find out about you and Yi Qing, right? After all, if someone wanted to hide it, their phone wouldn't just be lying around where I could see it, and you set a password that you knew I knew." He shook his head. "No, I didn't. Man, you think I resent you because I didn't have a child, but because of past promises, you couldn't say anything to me, nor blame me, as that would make you lose the image of a good man, but you still couldn't hold back that day. You exposed yourself. You thought I would be hysterical, but I wasn't, so, you thought I didn't care about it at all and continued to test my limits. The best scenario for you was to catch you cheating, and then you could justify it by blaming me for not being able to have children, saying, "Sue Man, you can't have children. Is it wrong for me to find someone who can?" You're not wrong. But your mistake was in continually testing me, hurting me. You knew what you were doing would upset me, but you did it anyway. You allowed your canary to come to me, to provoke me. You still took her out to have fun, deliberately sending me those photos of you two to upset me, expecting me to give in, even pretending to forget what I like, just to anger me. But whether it's pretend or not doesn't matter anymore. Still, I have to tell you, I'm allergic to that brand of sanitary pads you bought me. When you first bought them without knowing, I had such a severe reaction I ended up in the hospital. And you were so guilt-ridden you couldn't sleep for 3 days. Also, I never drink brown sugar ginger tea because I hate ginger. Back when we were in school, you would pick out the ginger from my food every day. For 7 or 8 years, Qin Mo knelt down, took my hand, and pressed it against his face. "Stop talking, man, please stop. I was wrong. I really was. Man, can you forgive me? Let's start over." It seemed like he only just realized he was about to lose me. But why did he only realize it now? "Start over. If you can bring back my child, then we can start over." He suddenly froze, looking at me in disbelief. His mouth opened and closed, and finally, only a trembling voice came from his throat. "Child, we had a child." I took out a photo from the drawer. It was a CT scan, but I couldn't bear to part with it, so I had it printed as a photo. "Yes, but he's already gone." He took the photo, his fingers trembling as he touched it. He shook his head desperately at me. "You're lying, right? Man, it can't be. How can it be gone? You're joking with me, right? Man, I know I've been too much lately. I shouldn't have made you angry. I shouldn't have upset you. I really messed up. Man, please tell me you're just joking." I raised my hand and slapped him. this slap is for our child. If he was born, he would have slapped you too. Are you awake now? Chin Mo's face turned to the side from the slap. Only when the imprint of the slap appeared did his body stiffen and he turned back. Why, man, why, it's our child, he cried heartbreakingly, but I felt no sympathy, because his mother is a barren hen who couldn't lay eggs, so he didn't want to stay in my belly at all, I said jokingly, but he suddenly stood up and hugged me, burying his face in my shoulder. Stop, please, man, stop talking. He knew these were his own words, but I ignored him and continued. His father said his mother couldn't have children, that no one would want his mother but him. I said it mechanically, yet he held me tighter. Man, I really messed up. None of those were my true feelings. Please, don't leave me. Don't, I love you, man, I really love you. I patted his back. I love you too, but, you lost the me who loved you. I stayed in the hospital for 2 days, and Chin Mo knelt outside for 2 days. Jojo hit and kicked him but he didn't leave. Later, Yi Ching also came, and I slapped her 5 times in front of everyone. She cried and hid behind Chin Mo, but Chin Mo dragged her out for me to hit. I laughed at him. Chin Mo, using a woman as a shield, that's really something. He didn't look at me, just knelt in front of me and started slapping himself. Before noon, a video circulated online titled, "Famous Company CEO Kneels and Slaps Himself at the Hospital." It was in high definition, unblurred, even Yi Ching's face was captured in it. Soon, her Weibo was exposed, and the truth came to light. It turned out that Yi Ching, relying on her status as a sponsored individual, had disrupted someone's family and was even flaunting her affair on social media. Suddenly, she was like a rat crossing the street, everyone clamoring to denounce her. Later, it was also revealed that she had been quite promiscuous back in her rural village, relying on her good looks. She seduced the village chief just to secure a sponsorship spot. It was said that she was even caught by the village chief's wife once, but managed to settle the matter with some money, and it was dropped. Chin Mo's company's stocks also plummeted to an all-time low. Even his father came to the hospital to give him a beating. Surprisingly, he told his son, "I will lose respect for you if you don't get a divorce," and then he left. I must say, I agree with that statement. As soon as I was discharged from the hospital, Zhou Rong and I bought plane tickets to go abroad. I left the divorce proceedings entirely to my lawyer. Chin Mo, upon discovering that I had emptied our home, frantically tried to reclaim the past. He even came to harass me where I was staying. I only gave him a small star. After taking it, he cried again. I could only sigh. No one will pity your tears anymore. With that, I left. I knew he would agree to the divorce. Star. That was the nickname I had given him, because when he came into my life, he shone like a star, so, I kept him in my eyes, in my heart. I wanted to be radiant, but I had also said, if one day I felt that the star no longer shined, then I wouldn't want it anymore, because if it's not shining, it's not my fault, it means the star is broken. What if the star is fixed? He asked stubbornly, much like years ago when he didn't want me mingling with other boys. I smiled at him. Sister doesn't need it anymore, now I am my own star. A month after I went abroad, Chin Mo sent me the divorce papers. He also gave me a lot of property. He sold his company and invested in a project treating ectopic pregnancies. However, I had little faith in him, because he couldn't even protect his own child. How could he protect someone else's? As expected, within just 6 months, he failed, because Yi Ching clung to him desperately, actually carrying his child. She continuously tried to climb the social ladder, but Chin Mo gave her no chance and ultimately caused her to miscarry. His reputation was completely ruined. His father brought him back to the Chin family home and locked him away, but he went mad, constantly saying he needed to be with his wife, clutching his phone to answer his wife's calls, seeing a paper star. He would insanely claim it was folded by his wife. With no other choice, his father finally admitted him to a psychiatric hospital. One day, I suddenly received a call. There was silence on the other line. After asking several times, a voice finally spoke. Man, I'm scared to death. I'm scared I'll never see you again." I hung up and continued surfing with my best friend at the beach. 3 days later, a news alert popped up back home. Chin Corporation's heir Chin Mo committed suicide in a psychiatric hospital 3 days ago. It was said that he kept mentioning how scared he was. I casually flipped past the news. The next headline read, "The Leonid meteor shower will arrive next week." Wow, there's a meteor shower to watch. Story 2. I am a doctor. While on a train, I witnessed a boy fall from the upper bunk of a hard sleeper. I rushed to help immediately. But tragically, the boy did not survive. The boy's mother attacked me, punching and kicking, accusing me of causing her son's death. The boy's father charged at me and viciously stabbed me multiple times. My blood and intestines spilled everywhere, and I succumbed to my severe injuries. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the train, and the boy was causing a commotion in the carriage. I was woken by the noise. The boy was yelling and running around the carriage, disturbing all the passengers. "Little boy, can you stop making noise? Everyone wants to rest." "I want to make noise. What are you going to do about it?" Nah. The boy didn't care and even made a face at the person who spoke up. The passengers became even more irritated. "Don't the parents care at all? This is a public place. You know this is a public place. It's not your house. Can you control my son?" Arguing with a child. What kind of behavior is this? People nowadays really lack manners. If you don't like the noise, why not travel in first class? Why squeeze into a train? The woman in red rolled her eyes, clearly disdainful. I recognized her. Her name was Su Hong, the boy's mother. In a past life, the boy fell from the upper bunk, and I rushed to give him CPR immediately, not stopping for a second. I kept going for over 10 minutes until we reached the nearest station and an ambulance arrived. By that time, I was drenched in sweat, and my arms trembled from exhaustion. But ultimately, the boy still died in the emergency room. Su Hong collapsed in tears. Taking her anger out on me, she pinned me down, her eyes red as she choked me, screaming piercingly, "It's all your fault my son died. You did this on purpose. You might as well die too." I was overwhelmed by the sensation of suffocation. Thankfully, bystanders pulled Su Hong away just in time to save my life. But before I could feel relieved for long, I was cornered in an alley by the boy's father. I can't remember how many times he stabbed me. All I felt was unbearable pain everywhere. When I regained consciousness, I was back on the train. The boy had climbed back up to the upper bunk above me, dangling his legs down, kicking near my face. I couldn't help but frown and shifted to the side. The next second, a cup of water fell from above, soaking the bed. This had also happened in my past life. I was unprepared and got my knee completely wet, and not one of them apologized. Su Hong and I had a heated argument because of this, but now, I had no desire to argue. I just wanted to get as far away from this family as possible. My heart was pounding. I had another chance to start over. This time, I was determined to survive. Just then, a conductor arrived in the carriage. Passengers complained about the boy. Long-distance train travel is exhausting enough without a hyperactive boy starting his antics from 5 or 6 in the morning, keeping everyone awake. The passengers were at their wits' end. The conductor, polite and gentle, advised Su Hong to keep an eye on her child and maintain quiet in the carriage, but Su Hong was not about to take her advice. Her eyes widened. "Is there a law that says you must be quiet on a train? You can't even talk during the day. Maybe next time everyone should sew their mouths shut before getting on a train. The little girl doesn't learn good things. She only knows how to bully us common folk. It's completely unjust." The boy also joined in, cursing at the attendant with all sorts of foul language. Su Hong not only didn't stop him, but she actually looked proud. The attendant's eyes welled up with tears. I've seen this kind of scene before, but Su Hong was still causing a scene. I quickly packed my luggage, only thinking about leaving the compartment as soon as possible. But trouble doesn't come alone. The boy was running in the narrow compartment and bumped into me heavily. He fell down on his bottom. Su Hong forcefully pushed me aside and cradled the boy's head, wailing, "My poor baby, these ruthless people, if they can't outtalk me, they resort to hurting my child." When I looked up, I found myself pushed next to the boy's father. Li Qing had been sitting silently in a corner and now he was staring coldly at me. I shivered instinctively and hastily averted my gaze. A numbing sensation enveloped me, as if a knife was continuously moving in and out of my body. I felt dizzy, trembling, my heart racing, and my hands gripping the handrail went weak. The attendant quickly supported me. Su Hong's loud voice rang out again, "Shameless, you even tried to scam us first. Stop pretending. You owe my son an apology, and a compensation. I want to see what kind of precious person you are." Barely touched and already half dead, I just felt a buzzing pain in my head. Su Hong's voice was particularly grating. Some passengers spoke up for me, blocking Su Hong. "Don't go too far. You can't afford the responsibility if something really happens." "Exactly, show some mercy where you can." I couldn't care less about anything else and urgently pleaded with the attendant. "Please get me out of here. I beg you." I sat down by the aisle, the discomfort slowly fading, but I still felt very uneasy. if I just stay away from that family of 3, I should be fine, right? Hospital work is busy. I haven't been home for over half a year, I finally have some time off. And my parents are waiting at home for me to join them for a family meal. Suddenly, the train announcement came on: if there are medical personnel on board, please proceed to car 7, thank you. I instinctively stood up, hesitated for a moment, then quickly sat back down. If I reveal now that I'm a doctor, and if the boy needs emergency aid again, I might end up like I did in my previous life. I'd been committed to the medical field since high school, practicing medicine for 5 years with dedication, always adhering to the Hippocratic Oath. But this time, I'm truly scared. The pain was too much. The announcement continued to sound. I remembered the injuries of the woman from my previous life, who seemed to have a kind nature. I gritted my teeth and hurried toward car 7. I just couldn't stand by and watch. I am a doctor after all. The lady was holding her leg and gasping in pain. She got scalded accidentally while handling hot water. Her thigh was badly burned, looking quite frightening. I quickly cooled her skin with water, applied and reapplied burn ointment, and instructed her on further care. I had treated her once before in a past life, making my actions more confident this time. She repeatedly thanked me, before I could even return a smile. The attendant handed me a blank form. My heart skipped a beat. I glanced over it quickly and indeed, it was the registration form I had filled out in a past life. It included various personal details, including my medical license number and place of practice. I instinctively refused. I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. The elder sister looked surprised. The flight attendant's face also changed. How can you treat a passenger's wound without being a doctor? Are you sure your procedure was correct? What if the medication is inappropriate and causes other consequences? Can you take responsibility for that? A pang of worry hit me. Had I made a mistake coming here? The elder sister laughed heartily, breaking the tension for me. It's okay, I think the young lady did a great job. I feel much better now. She meant well, you can't blame her. Seeing this, the flight attendant did not persist further and apologized to me before leaving. Luckily, the elder sister really had a good nature. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. Elder sister, thank you. She waved her hands dismissively. How is this reversed? You helped me. I should be the one thanking you, young lady. I'm really grateful. I was panicking earlier. The attendant was also afraid of being held responsible. Alas, these days there are too many cases of people biting back. Everyone is cautious about helping others. Thankfully, you dared to step in and help me. Otherwise I really wouldn't have known what to do. I was filled with mixed emotions, indeed. When those who offer help in good faith are met with retaliation, who would dare to step forward again? I had hesitated too. Don't worry, young lady, I think the medication is right. I'm barely in pain anymore. Even if something does go wrong, I definitely won't trouble you. You can record this. I couldn't help but smile wryly, continuously agreeing with her. After a moment of thought, I decided to reassure her further. Actually, I've been burned before, and this is how the doctor treated me. This medication really works, or else I wouldn't have dared to apply it. The elder sister smiled even more brightly. A young girl, about 10 years old, handed me an apple. With her eyes moist, she spoke softly. Sister, thank you for saving my mom. This apple is for you. It's very sweet. With a smile on her face, I couldn't resist patting her on the head. Thank you for the apple. The girl shyly hid behind the elder sister. I took a big bite of the apple, and it was indeed very sweet. Standing by the aisle, I gazed at the receding scenery in deep thought. The two children were about the same age but behaved so differently. Back then, I was only focused on escaping, but now thinking about the little boy made me uneasy. He was so young, a life in itself. Could I really just ignore him? If he fell unconscious again and an announcement was made, could I really stay hidden in good conscience? Images flashed before my eyes. The boy's pale face, Su Hong's angry eyes, and Li Cheng's indifferent gaze. I wanted to save him, but I was also scared of death. I hesitated, unsure of what to do. Suddenly, someone tapped me on the shoulder, followed by a surprised voice. Lin Qing, aren't you supposed to be in med? My heart skipped a beat, and I quickly covered his mouth. After looking around to make sure no one noticed us, I finally relaxed. The tall figure in front of me was all smiles. Oh, it was Pei Song, my high school classmate. Speaking of which, Pei Song was a big reason I chose the path of medicine. During a high school physical education class, Pei Song fell off the horizontal bar and passed out from holding his breath. At that time, I had only learned a bit of first aid from my uncle. I don't know what I was thinking, but I actually dared to go over and perform CPR on him. Honestly, I don't even remember if my technique was correct. But the outcome was gratifying. I actually managed to revive him. I was overjoyed. It was from that moment that I began to entertain the idea of becoming a doctor. My grades were always mediocre. To get into medical school, I don't know how many textbooks I went through or how many late nights I stayed up, but eventually, I succeeded. Ironically, despite my initial intention to save lives and help the injured, I ended up dying in what amounted to a distorted form of patient harassment. Seeing me silent for a long time, Pei Song looked puzzled. "What are you thinking about? You seem so secretive," I asked seriously. "Pei Song, can you do me a favor? It might be dangerous." "Of course," he replied without hesitation, adding teasingly, "After all, you are my lifesaver." I smiled, relieved. At that moment, the scales in my heart completely tipped. I just couldn't stand by and watch the boy die. With the lessons learned from the past, I was sure to protect myself first, then try to save the boy. Even if something went wrong this time, Pei Song was there. He was an athlete with excellent physical condition, unafraid even to confront Li Qing face to face. Finally, I felt some confidence. "All right, wait here for me. I'll go handle something." I hurried back to the original carriage. The scene that unfolded before my eyes was shocking. The boy's legs were dangling over the handrail in the aisle, his whole body swaying, at risk of falling at any moment. "Be careful." As soon as I spoke, the boy lost his balance, and I quickly stepped forward to catch him. Fortunately, I protected him well, and he didn't suffer any bumps. I set him down, about to give him a few more warnings. After all, he had just had an accident and should have learned his lesson. Maybe now he would listen to some advice. But what he did next truly chilled my heart. As soon as the boy stood up, he immediately kicked hard at my shin. "It's all your fault for shouting like that. You scared me into almost falling." His kick was fast and fierce, and I couldn't dodge in time. My shin hurt terribly, and anger rose in me, the suppressed fear suddenly exploding. I didn't care about the pain anymore. I moved forward against the boy's attack, grabbed his arms from behind, clasped his neck, and firmly pinned him on the bed. "Apologize to me, right now." Su Hong, who had been smiling at the side, now saw me gaining the upper hand and hurriedly came over to push me away. "What's wrong with you? You didn't even ask for compensation earlier, and now you come back to hit my child. That's so immoral." "Everyone, come and see. Someone is bullying a child here." I just had to laugh. "I saved him just now. You didn't see that. Then your child kicked me. You didn't see that. Now when I was about to discipline him, you saw that. Your eyes are really sharp, aren't they?" "Mum, she dared to hit me. You have to help me hit her back." The boy cried loudly, yet not a single tear could be seen. I gave him a cold glance. Some people, when they face trouble, it's simply what they deserve. I shouldn't have been soft-hearted. At that moment, there were no other people in the carriage, just the three of us. Su Hong was fiercely pulling at me. Her strength was formidable, and I could only passively resist. The boy was also observing and would occasionally kick me. During the struggle, I was thrown to the side, my right elbow slamming hard against the railing. I heard a loud crack and instantly broke out in a cold sweat. My right arm was probably dislocated. My shoulder bag was also flung away, its contents scattering all over, creating a mess. The loud noise finally attracted a lot of passengers. The conductor hurried over as well. Su Hong was quick to speak, playing the villain who complains first. "Just now, my son and I were sitting here peacefully when this woman suddenly came back and started hitting us. If I weren't strong, who knows how badly we would have been bullied." She had hit my son before, and she specifically waited until the carriage was empty to come over and attack us. "You must arrest her." I stood to the side, cradling my right arm, my forehead slick with cold sweat, coolly observing her performance. I waited for her to finish her nonsensical rant before calmly speaking up. "Why don't you ask everyone here if they believe your story?" The surrounding passengers, who had all had unpleasant experiences with them and knew their true character, had harbored resentment for a long time and were certainly not on their side now. "This woman just knows how to twist the truth. You can't listen to her words. The young girl is definitely innocent." "Exactly, the young girl looks seriously injured, and that woman is still playing the victim. I've been annoyed by this family for a long time. The child is lawless, and the adults don't bother to discipline. They truly deserve it." The onlooking passengers were buzzing with comments, unanimously blaming Su Hong and her family. Seeing the tide turn against her, Su Hong immediately sat down on the floor, kicking out wildly, starting her familiar drama of throwing a tantrum. "It's unjust. Everyone is bullying us now. The child is just a bit lively, and yet he is despised. There's no tolerance in society anymore. My poor baby, she must pay compensation, or this won't be settled. Tears streamed down Soo-hong's face, astonishing me with her performance. Believe it or not, some were actually fooled by her act, advising me to forgive and forget, not to be too hard. Those who were initially denouncing Soo-hong now fell silent. Encouraged by the effect, Soo-hong cried even louder, her voice truly grating. So the boy carelessly throws water, swings his legs about almost hitting someone's face, showing no remorse despite his evident misbehavior. Just a bit lively, he repays kindness with ingratitude, readily resorting to hitting and cursing. Just a bit lively, she really had a way with words. No matter how the conductor tried to mediate, Soo-hong remained unyielding. She wept bitterly, as if I had committed some heinous crime against her. Calmly, I lifted my phone and shook it. All right then. Let's call the police. The calls for help from car number 08 abruptly stopped. Soo-hong's face was filled with panic. Don't scare me. You're calling the police. Do you have evidence? My little Bao and I both saw it. You started the fight. I was merely defending myself. Right, isn't that so, Xiaobao? The woman asked assertively. The boy nodded vigorously. Yes. Soo-hong, feeling emboldened, switched back to her arrogant tone. I won't waste more words with you. Just pay us 20 or 30,000. And we can let this go. 20 or 30,000. She really was asking for the moon. Was the boy even scratched? I'm the one who's hurt. I turned to the conductor. If I call the police, you can pull up the surveillance footage from the train car, right? Yes, ma'am, the conductor replied, seemingly relieved to deal with Soo-hong, his voice betraying a hint of pleasure. Soo-hong's face turned pale in an instant. She glanced frantically at the camera, then looked around as if searching for something to destroy the device. I couldn't help but be speechless. How ignorant could one be? Even if you destroy the camera now, the data is already stored in the back end. Besides, sabotaging railway facilities can land you in jail, I informed her. Completely panicked now, Soo-hong blurted out defiantly, forget it, I won't argue with you anymore. Let's just call it bad luck on our part. Please just go. Unfortunately. Her trembling voice made it all too clear. The other passengers noticed something was amiss and began clamoring to call the police to clarify the situation. Soo-hong bowed her head, unusually silent, letting others make their comments without a word. Did she really think she could easily let this go? With a smirk, I pronounced each word clearly. You misunderstood. Now I'm the one who has an issue with you. My hand hurts so much I can't move it. It might be fractured. I'm going to sue you for intentional injury. You will definitely have to pay compensation, and you might even be detained. Soo-hong looked up sharply. I unlocked my phone screen, pretending to dial. Suddenly, someone kicked Soo-hong hard, and her somewhat corpulent body momentarily lifted into the air before her waist slammed heavily against the edge of the bunk, making a loud noise. The kick was strong and forceful. She was definitely not lightly injured. Everyone was stunned. I turned my head in shock. It was Li Qing. My heart clenched. Li Qing was standing right next to me. Though I had no idea when he had returned, I instinctively moved aside, accidentally pulling at my arm, causing a sharp pain. Sweat broke out on my forehead again. Was this a stress response? It felt like I was seeing blood everywhere again. My limbs seemed to be in a state of excessive blood loss, going numb and weak. My wife has a bad temper, and I apologize for her. We will compensate for this injury, cover all medical expenses. Is that an acceptable solution? Li Qing said earnestly, his tone reasonable, which was completely at odds with his violent actions. I grew more frightened and bowed my head, pretending to be in severe pain, trying to calm myself, perhaps seeing that I wasn't responding. Li Qing pressed Soo-hong and the boy to apologize to me. In front of Li Qing, the two of them cowered like quails. I finally convinced myself, none of my past life had happened yet. The current Li Qing wouldn't harm me. I couldn't appear too panicked. That would only raise suspicions. Even if I did call the police, for a conflict of this level, Soo-hong wouldn't face any severe punishment. It would only entangle us further. It was better for me to clearly distance myself from their family. I accepted Li Qing's compensation and we reached a settlement. The crowd of onlookers dispersed. The attendant helped me gather my belongings scattered on the ground. Tisk, you're a doctor. Doctors these days are all heartless, only knowing how to ask for money. They know nothing else but to bully us, the common folks. I suddenly looked up, only to realize that Soo-hong had picked up my medical license. With the issue resolved, she seemed reinvigorated. But I couldn't care less about her demeaning and mocking words anymore. I stood there numbly, my heart sinking to the depths. It felt as if all events were aligning back onto a familiar tragic path from my past life. Despite my efforts to avoid it, I still ended up arguing with Su Hong and revealing my identity as a doctor. In the end, was I destined to die at the hands of Li Qing? I couldn't help but steal a glance at Li Qing. He remained impassive, leaning against the railing. His expression neither sad nor happy. The terror within me was indescribable. I snatched my medical license and fled the carriage as if escaping. Wait a moment, I didn't want to be so obedient, but my legs wouldn't respond. As if rooted to the spot, Li Qing moved in front of me, scrutinizing me for a long time. He suddenly smiled. You seem very afraid of me. My heart stopped. I was panicked to the extreme, yet my face settled into a complete calm, as if my soul had left my body. No. Li Qing ignored my response. He suddenly made a strange gesture, wrapping a charging cable around his hand several times before stretching it out with both hands. I was utterly confused. What was he doing? Li Qing quickly abandoned his action and walked back to a corner of the carriage. His stern face somehow looked more agreeable than his smile, which was truly unsettling. My soul snapped back into place, and I hurried over to Pei Song. Perhaps I was too frightened earlier, but I couldn't feel the pain in my hand. I plopped down next to Pei Song before I could catch my breath, gasping from the pain. Why are you in such a panic? What happened to your hand? Pei Song frowned, reaching out to check my injury. I quickly stopped him. It's just dislocated, nothing serious. Aren't you an orthopedic surgeon? Can you fix it yourself? I was silent for a moment, then said, no, we're almost at the station. I'll find a hospital to treat it. Pei Song nodded. That makes sense. I heard setting a dislocation is painful. Who can really bring themselves to do that? What exactly happened to your hand? What were you saying about handling some matter? Pei Song chattered on relentlessly. I couldn't focus on him, my mind racing with troubling thoughts. Su Hong and Li Qing seemed unusually afraid of me calling the police, not just ordinarily afraid, but truly terrified. And Li Qing's last gesture, was it something like strangling? I jumped up from my seat in shock. Pei Song, your brother is a police officer, right? Pei Song, startled, answered, ah, yes, then please ask him something for me. I stared intently into Pei Song's eyes, my tone serious. Is there a fugitive murderer named Li Qing? Soon after, Pei Song's brother replied, no. I was somewhat taken aback, but also felt a bit amused. Was I too deeply influenced by my past life, to the point of being scared silly, to even have such an absurd thought? I breathed a sigh of relief, relaxed and leaned back comfortably in my chair. Pei Song, still eager for knowledge, curiously asked, who is Li Qing? After I explained the series of events that had just occurred, I asked him with a self-mocking smile, do you think I'm being too imaginative? Not at all. I think your thoughts are quite reasonable, but your brother checked, and it's not him. Pei Song's eyes sparkled. It's just the name that's not the same. He might be using a fake name. Wait here for me. Before Pei Song could finish his sentence, he dashed off so quickly I couldn't even hold him back. What was this tall guy up to? It wasn't long before Pei Song returned. He handed me his phone, looking quite pleased with himself. I looked at the chat record. Goodness, Pei Song had taken a high-definition photo of Li Qing and sent it to his brother. I widened my eyes. He didn't notice, did he? Aren't you afraid of him? He seemed a bit perplexed. Of course he didn't notice. I'm not stupid. What's there to be afraid of? He doesn't look special, just likes to keep a stern face, doesn't necessarily mean he's a murderer. I felt a bit envious. Is this what they mean by ignorance is bliss? I saw that boy you were talking about. He's over there crawling around again, really doesn't learn. I just responded with an oh, expressionless. Pei Song suddenly got excited. Right, your reaction is correct. He's not your patient. Why do you care so much? You've already advised him, yet he hasn't restrained himself at all. If something really happens, it's his own fault. Besides, it's not certain something will happen. Don't carry such a heavy psychological burden. Alright, look at how worried you've become. I glanced at him, lacking the desire to speak. Yes, in others' eyes, these are just unlikely events that haven't happened, and I really am worrying too much. But I have experienced it once myself. I know the likelihood of the boy getting into trouble is very high. After all, this life's development is almost the same as in my previous life. But good words are hard to persuade a doomed soul. I've done all I can. I'm not a god. I can't save someone hell-bent on finding their own demise. Maybe seeing me continuously gloomy, Pei Song began to comfort me again. being a doctor these days has been overly mythologized by everyone. You have to be highly skilled and also possess a spirit of dedication. Everyone is expected to be like a saint descending to earth, benefiting the community. Why should it be so? Isn't everyone just working to earn some money? He paused for a moment, then quickly added, of course, there are many who are definitely doing it out of belief, out of love, like you. I waved my hand to cut him off, indicating that I didn't mind. I glanced at my right arm and sighed imperceptibly, a bitter feeling rising within me. Indeed, many in the industry always harbor sincere dedication, fearlessly contributing to the medical field. I used to be able to say with a straight face that I was one of those people, but now, I no longer belong among them. My right arm isn't seriously injured at all. I could easily pop it back into place myself. But I didn't. I was leaving myself a way out. If something unexpected happens, it would serve as a perfect excuse for me to stay out of it. I am a complete coward. Pei Song's phone suddenly started vibrating nonstop. All thoughts were interrupted, and I hurriedly leaned in closer. His brother finally replied with a message, a wanted poster of a man. The man in the wanted poster bore the face of Li Qing, but the name displayed was Li Qingdong. He indeed was a murderer and had been using a fake name. A call came through immediately after. Give me your exact location. We'll deploy action right away. Stay back and keep yourself safe. Do not approach them. We quickly agreed. After hanging up, Pei Song and I looked at each other, both feeling a chill. Li Qing was indeed a fugitive using a pseudonym, with 3 lives on his hands, all strangled to death. 3 flourishing college students just went to the countryside to sketch and watch the sunrise, but because of a disagreement with Li Qing, they were left forever in that small village. As for Su Hong, she was also using an alias and was on the fugitive list as Li Qing's accomplice. Both individuals were despicably evil. I was incredibly nervous, my heart beating chaotically. It turns out Li Qing's previous actions were to test me. Had any of my reactions been slightly off, he would have silenced me immediately, wouldn't he? Moments ago, I thought I had been extremely cautious in protecting myself and even planned a way out. Now, I suddenly realized that unwittingly, I had been skirting the edges of death several times, confronting 2 cold-blooded murderers. I truly was audacious. I don't know if Pei Song was missing a screw in his head. Just a few minutes ago, he was as scared as I was, but now, he was eagerly wanting to keep an eye on Li Qing's family and even tried to coax me into joining him. I quickly refused. Time ticked by, and the train was almost at the platform. The moment when the boy in the past fell had already passed. By now, the platform should be filled with police ready to arrest Li Qing. Right, the course of fate must have changed entirely. I should be able to get away smoothly. Suddenly, Pei Song rushed back in a hurry. He hit the railing with a loud bang. He shielded me in the corner, using his body to firmly block others' views. I was confused. What's wrong? It's nothing, he replied quickly, but his voice trembled, not sounding like it was nothing at all. I wanted to ask more, but suddenly a sharp cry rang out not far away. Xiao Bao. My heart skipped a beat. That voice, it sounded like Su Hong's. I tightened my throat, finding it difficult to speak. Did that little boy still have an accident? Pei Song held my head firmly, staring intently into my eyes, his face serious. It has nothing to do with you. He hit his head directly on the ground, motionless on the spot. Even if you went, there was nothing you could do. The train will be here in a few minutes. There will be ambulances. Just leave it to them. We were not far from Su Hong and the others. I could clearly hear her continuous wailing. She was crying and hoping someone would come and save her son. I even vaguely heard her calling my name, pleading for my help. The surrounding passengers all ran over to watch. The train announcements kept looping continuously. Passenger in need of urgent assistance. Please could medical staff head to carriage 11. Thank you. Passenger in need of urgent assistance. Please could medical staff head to carriage 11. Thank you. I sat frozen in place, my body trembling uncontrollably. Pei Song clutched my ears tightly, constantly whispering reassurances to me. I prayed silently, wishing for the train to reach the station quickly and for this ordeal to end. Those few minutes felt excruciatingly long. Finally, the train arrived at the station. The police quickly took control of the situation, evacuating the crowd, apprehending the fugitive. It was all done smoothly and efficiently. A boy was immediately taken away in an ambulance. As Pei Song and I exited the train station with the crowd, we ran into Su Hong. She was being escorted by 2 police officers towards a police car. Hunched over, her hair disheveled, she looked utterly defeated. When she saw me, She somehow found the strength to break free and charged at me with fury. But before she could get far, she was swiftly restrained again. The police pinned her down firmly, but she continued to struggle wildly, her eyes red, her voice hoarse. She yelled, "Aren't you a doctor? Why didn't you save my son, you despicable wretch? Where is your conscience, your medical ethics? Give me back my son." Maybe I felt a bit of pity for the boy, but for Su Hong and Li Qing, I only wished they would go to hell quickly. I touched my right arm lightly. "Have you forgotten? You broke my arm, how could I save your son? You feel pain now. Didn't you ever consider that the person you killed was someone else's son too?" Su Hong collapsed, she sobbed, giving up all resistance, and was dragged into the police car. I went straight to the hospital, went through the procedure to register for treatment, and my arm was securely bandaged. It felt like an overreaction, but it was better this way, to distance myself further from the ordeal. Pei Song found out from his brother that the boy didn't make it. He had already lost all signs of life by the time he was placed in the ambulance. His fate was sealed. I was lucky to have escaped with my life, a true redemption by fate. After treating my wound, I arrived home 3 to 4 hours later than expected. My parents were extremely worried. They had called me multiple times. I had to tell them I was at the hospital getting bandaged, which terrified them. My dad wouldn't hear of it. He insisted on picking me up himself. Once home, they treated me like a fragile porcelain doll, not letting me do anything, even when changing shoes at the entrance. My mom came to help me. They tenderly comforted me, holding my securely bandaged arm. The dinner table was laden with all my favorite dishes. My mom, exaggerating even more, said I had injured my dominant hand and wanted to feed me herself. I repeatedly declined this sweet yet burdensome parental love. The news on TV reported that Li Qing and Su Hong, after many years, were finally apprehended. Li Qing was sentenced to death with a 2-year reprieve, and Su Hong to life imprisonment. Justice was finally served for the 3 young lives lost. The victims' parents wept bitterly on camera. My mom was deeply moved and cursed. "Those two are really despicable. The victims were their family's only children. Their parents must be devastated." I was scared to death when Qing Qing said she was at the hospital. If anything had happened to her, I wouldn't want to live either. As she spoke, my mom couldn't help but tear up. I felt a pang in my heart and quickly forced a smile to comfort her. "I'm fine, aren't I? I'm right here, Mom, don't be sad." My dad also sighed deeply and patted my mom's back to comfort her. I noticed his eyes were quietly tearing up too. Thankfully, despite being a bit late and slightly injured, my parents still got to see their daughter return. The family was reunited.